Now in the Knicks' third marquee matchup of the week against the Phoenix Suns, a team that has the expectations to at least reach the NBA Finals this season. I think things were a bit underestimated as this team was underwhelmed with no Kevin Durant, and even one of their sharpshooters, Grayson Allen, was also out. But even through all these injuries, this team was still coming into this matchup in a 6-game winning streak, including a victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves with no Devin Booker. And at the tail end of that winning streak, they're also pulling out victories with no Kevin Durant in that lineup. So this team is coming in red hot, and they have a defensive coach in Frank Vogel, and they have a lot of players that can sustain some sort of offense. Even though guys are on minimum contracts, guys can sustain some sort of offense. And ironically, early in the season, this roster actually does not let up a lot of three-point shots, and they actually lead the league in team blocks. So right here is a prime example of the Phoenix Suns just being in sync defensively. And once again, coming into this game, they're in a 6-game winning streak, the first 2 without Devin Booker, and the last 2 without Kevin Durant and Grayson Allen. You're gonna see right here on the switch, Booker and Kobe just sticks with their man. Look at that, nice switch. Eubanks picks up on the drop coverage. Everybody's pretty much recovered right here. And look at Eubanks, he keeps up with RJ right here. RJ got nowhere to go. The big man still keeping up with him. And then pay attention right here to the help defense by Kobe. Yeah, these guys are in sync. These guys got high confidence coming into this matchup. But early on in this game right here, you're going to see the attention that Booker draws in. As once again, I said, the Suns have guys who can sustain somewhat offense, even though they're on minimum contracts. But Devin Booker in this matchup plays the point guard role, and look at the type of attention that he draws just being in that pocket. Look at Grimes with double team, because Booker is that threat, and that's going to be one of the catalysts for the Suns this season, is that they're going to utilize situations like this, because you're going to have to double team one of their guys, whether it be Beal, Durant, or Booker, and they're hoping one of those other guys are going to be wide open to either take it to the cup or for a three-point shot. But in this matchup here, Devin Booker, he played the point guard role, and he drew a lot of attention. And remember, I said that the Suns do have role players on minimum contracts that can sustain offense, as Eric Gordon definitely went off in this game. Once again, pay attention to the type of attraction Devin Booker draws. Is going to lead to the extra man just being open here. Now, very early on, once again, the Knicks are putting on a concerted effort to block and double team Devin Booker off this flare screen. Booker gets the ball, and then he gets double teamed right here. But look at Eric Gordon. If he starts making his run right here, he could get a pass to be wide open. But the Knicks are definitely put the AP out on Booker. Once again, Booker generating offense. Look at RJ fully commits on this stunt right here. Fully commits. And then you're going to have Eric Gordon right here wide open, and he can hit those. Once again, they have guys who can sustain their offense. But everything is running off of Booker just being that initial point guard and attacking. Now, even though they subbed their bench unit in pretty early, and then now Devin Booker subbed right back in with their bench unit, they're still killing us in those minutes. And just look at this unit's cohesiveness, I would say, right here. Look at Hart, he's wide open. But just look at the movement of this defense. Remember, this is a Frank Vogel defense, so it's not shocking. Look at guys recovering. And the Knicks just get a tough contested shot instead. So throughout this game with the bench units, the Knicks lost that battle 43-35. So in this play right here, we're going to see the attention Devin Booker draws once again. As Josh Hart, he's going to stunt in a little bit more as Devin Booker takes a step forward. And this is pretty much the evolution of players like Devin Booker. The next evolution is for him to actually make the proper reads off that pick and roll. Is he going to thread the needle here to, I believe this is Eubanks? Or is he going to take a step forward, kind of bait Josh Hart more in and make the initial pass here to the open man? And we see players like Anthony Edwards this season kind of making those type of reads, but those young wing players throughout the league, this is the next step for them to make that crossover into the next tier of superstardom. But the Knicks all game long just struggle with the type of attention they were giving to Devin Booker. And their role players were in sync as they were making their shots all game long. But when you have a scoring threat like Devin Booker making reads like this, making the proper passes, it's really scary. It's very similar to Luka when he makes those reads off of the pick and roll, and it becomes very hard to defend. Once again, Devin Booker making the reads right here on the weak side to Metu, man, 6'10", and he's gonna get a mismatch right here. Well, quickly. Look at that, 6'10", too easy. Once again, off this rebound, check out RJ Barrett right here as he's guarding Watanabe. Like I said, the Suns role players, they can make shots. Players that are a major threat from mid-range or just from three, like Booker, Luka, Tyrese Halliburton, once they start making great decisions off of that pick and roll of who to pass to, things become really difficult. Things get real dangerous for defenses. See, now the Knicks right here are making adjustments on communication. Look at RJ and Grimes, man. They're actually going to communicate with this screen with Booker. Good job by Grimes right there, actually stepping in front of the screen. And look at Grimes right there communicating with RJ. This shit should have been happening from the jump, because with Booker's playmaking ability, he's been killing us. Not even with scoring, just by making things happen for other guys on the court. Now we just seen in one instance when the communication is on point. Now right here you're gonna see where the communication is almost non-existent between Randle and Grimes. Non-existent right here. See that split second right there? A guy like Booker, that shit is deadly. And that's all he needs. That one split second, that's all he needs. See right there. The miscommunication, easy. Now take a look at the poor box outs that led to second chance points for the Suns all game long. Look at Metu. And it led to a foul right there. But once again, the Suns were out hustling us as they kept us off the offensive boards, and they were able to get way more offensive boards than us through a lot of scrappy plays. And once we lose in that battle, which is one of our strong points, we got to kind of pick up the pieces in other places like the bench unit and also our turnovers. So once again, in another statement game, a lot of self-inflicted things came back to haunt us. So RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes combined in this matchup played over 50 minutes, went 4 of 16 from the field for only 12 points. So these two together, just the output just does not match the starting minutes. And look at just off this miss, this offensive board by Quentin Grimes. Nice fake handoff move to RJ. But look, he has a clear path to the cup for a little floater or something. But look what he does instead. He pulls it back. He could still maintain his dribble here because these two defenders right here get confused for a quick second. They leave him wide open, but he gives up that dribble. See right there, like, why did he give it up? But again, nothing was going for Grimes and RJ from the three-point range. So they don't have to settle for these shots all the time. But something is up with Grimes, man, because like I said before, he puts the ball on the ground, things happen. You know, he's really good off of just getting other guys in stride, finding them for the assist. And I don't know why, just at times he just gives up his dribble, or he's just always trying to get rid of the ball like a hot potato. But I don't know, I think it's something with confidence, but something is definitely up with Grimes right now. As his minutes going into December from November, it's just steadily going down. It's just steadily going down. He better hope that DiVincenzo doesn't get hot. But the Knicks overall had great production from Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, especially from Randle in that third quarter. He was just a monster. And Emmanuel quickly, even though he wasn't really shooting well in this game, he got to the line a lot and kept his foot on the Phoenix Suns' neck, especially heading into that fourth quarter. But unfortunately, him and that bench unit lost the battle versus the Suns bench as they were outscored 43-35. as the ball movement for the Phoenix Suns overall was a lot better than the Knicks, and it led to them having way more assists. As the Suns had 27, the Knicks had about 18. And the Knicks they're averaging way below the league average in team assists right now, which is not good. And leading into the Knicks having lack of ball movement led to a lot of struggles, particularly from RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes. As in the 50 minutes combined that they played, they went 4-16 from the field for only 12 points. So just think about it. We lost the game by basically a buzzer beater, but once again, we had a kind of a dud output from our starting shooting guard and small forward. But the Suns, even though they had a lot of injuries, this matchup was another statement game because their role players were clicking in all cylinders. Gordon, Eubanks, Goodwin, Little, Watanabe, Bates, everybody was doing the dirty work and making their shots. So I don't know if the Knicks were kind of underestimating this team because they did start off the first quarter very sluggish. And then things kind of picked up in the middle of the second quarter and kind of kept the same pace through the third and fourth quarter. But once again, the Suns were out hustling us as they kept us off the offensive boards, and they were able to get way more offensive boards than us through a lot of scrappy plays. And once we lose in that battle, which is one of our strong points, we got to kind of pick up the pieces in other places like the bench unit and also our turnovers. So once again, in another statement game, a lot of self-inflicted things came back to haunt us in that fourth quarter, as this was pretty much a blown opportunity and a very capable win against a team that's pretty much in a situation where they're having to call their next man up due to certain injuries and circumstances. So at the end of November, this is pretty much the first round of games that this roster really has been tested. Ever since getting Quentin Grimes back for the Minnesota Timberwolves game, that was the first time we had a full roster healthy. You know, things kind of been up and down going up against the Heat, Suns, and now in the play-in knockout round against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks have shown that from quarter to quarter, there is sometimes a lot of inconsistency. And when you have a lot of disappearing acts from certain key players, guys like RJ Barrett, who've pretty much began to cool off from his hot start, and most importantly, Quentin Grimes, his minutes throughout November have seen a dip leading into December. And the minutes that he's lost is not like someone else has made up for him. Guys like Dante DiVincenzo really haven't made that push to sort of claim those minutes. It's almost like it's been sprinkled subtly to guys like him, maybe quickly. But to have Grimes out there getting multiple games with 0 points, it's not going to work in a scoring league no matter how good your defense is. But a good sign to see is that Julius Randle looks like he's getting back into form, especially after the Milwaukee game. I don't know if it was a postseason surgery, but he looks like he's back at it. And the Knicks' lack of size, particularly going up against the T-Wolves and the Milwaukee Bucks, it really tends to show. We got $18 million sitting in our bench, aka Evan Fournier, and we do have a need for a small forward, like a real small forward, because at times, especially against the good teams, it creates way too many mismatch issues. But one thing for certain that stands out in all these statement games is the importance of Mitchell Robinson. When he's not getting those offensive boards, when he's not able to be that dominant presence in the paint defensively, it almost causes a domino effect on this team. As we've seen the more veteran, polished teams like the Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns, and Milwaukee Bucks sort of found a way to neutralize his presence, as those were the games that the Knicks were not able to get second chance points, particularly from the offensive rebounding from Mitchell Robinson, which is key to our offense. But it's definitely still early, and the first gauntlet that we went through, things will look a little bit rocky, but it's not the end of the road though. It's not the end of the road, but the month of December is going to be crazy. Not only we're meeting up with the Bucks 2 more times, but we're also going to be on a West Coast trip and play against teams like the Lakers and Clippers and the Phoenix Suns 1 more time. But it's the end of the month of December. That sort of kills me because low-key, that matchup against OKC is going to be very difficult because that team presents a lot of matchup issues. And also, we're going to go and play against the red-hot Orlando Magic and Indiana Pacers. Up-and-coming teams that have pretty much nothing to lose. So night in, night out, most teams, they got to be on the A game going up against these guys. But after a tough November with a bunch of back-to-backs, the Knicks' early season calendar continues to produce a tough schedule. But I particularly had these games circled in my calendar as the first measurement of where the Knicks could possibly be at. But I base this off of what teams are currently doing, as the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently sitting at the top of the West. The Miami Heat, a well-coached group that performs consistent from quarter to quarter, and they always know how to take away our strengths and kind of force us to the things that we don't like to do. So it's always a chess match going up against that team. And the Phoenix Suns, even though injury riddled, they were on a 6-game winning streak before they came into Madison Square Garden, and their role players were definitely clicking offensively and defensively. And of course, the Milwaukee Bucks, who are second place in the Eastern Conference. So this was a good, I would say, first trial to see where the Knicks are at. But I expect when player eligibility opens up December 15th to be traded, I expect the Knicks to be active, particularly at the number 3 position, and they possibly need another shooter. But we'll see. Until next time, you fellas, stay safe. Peace.